Get in, nerds. We're playing Victoria 3. I got a lot to put together here, and I just want to sort of walk you through what I'm going to be doing. So, as you know already, I'm just going on speed 1 here. We got a bunch of government buildings on the pot. We're going to increase some construction sectors, and then build a bunch of logging camps, and after that we got these sugar plantations. Next step after that from a construction perspective is I'm going to need a military expansion. And, all my production methods are goofed. Alright, let's fix these up. Make sure we're where we want to be with all that. United States, I'm not going to... Treaty Fort and Zulia, I don't need that. We need a military expansion, because right now, we have 254 regular battalions. Great Britain's got 293. Austria's got 245, which is about the same as us. Russia's got 404. And Prussia's got 115. So we're not really standing up to Great Britain for an overall land power perspective. And I want to be doing that, because I don't want to be a power in the world. I want to be the power in the world. So to do that, I'm going to queue up a bunch of additional military. Part of what we're going to do is like round out numbers. That's not for any real good reason. That's just the way I like to do it. So we're going to put some military here. 10 levels in Mananjou. 10 levels in Brittany, 10 levels in Occitan, additional 5 levels in Provence, 10 levels in Picardy. I think otherwise we're basically good from a military perspective. So that's going to give us, what, an additional 56? That's fairly solid. I'm also going to round up our ones in North Africa. And in Africa, if we've got any. Do we have any military buildings in Africa? We don't. So that'll be an eventually thing. Trade agreement with Brazil? Absolutely. I would love to have a trade agreement. Where do we have uneven numbers? None in Guyana. None in... Okay. I'm gonna use this here. Oh, Somalia. God. There we go. That should be fine. Cool. Does this really help? Only a little. And also, I realized I'm on highest military wages, so I'm going to drop those back down to normal. That should rectify the overwhelming power of the armed forces in our current government. As we talked about a little bit, the next place we're going to be going on military adventures is Morocco. So that's on the docket. And I had one other thing I was going to do. It had to do with production methods. Just look through here. Oh, right. Yes. So in our market, explosives are very expensive. I realized I had a new explosives producing method that'll produce more explosives and less fertilizer. And because fertilizer is already very cheap, I figured I would go ahead and press the button on that. And as you can see right away, our chemical plants have become completely unprofitable. How and why did that happen? You all fired a bunch of people? What's going on with you? Just make sure this isn't... It's a sulfur shortage. I need to build up more sulfur mines, and I need them fast. Let's go ahead and put these in Constantine. Can I build quickly in Constantine? Yes, I can. 10 sets of sulfur mines in Constantine. I got a long construction queue, friends. We're just going to queue those all the way up to the top. And intersperse them with some of the stuff we're currently finishing out. Should get those built moderately fast. Tigray wants help in their diplomatic play against Harar. I don't desire that. I would love to have a united Ethiopia as a protectorate. That would make me just tickled. Alright. Go ahead and get back up to speed 3 here. So right now, in terms of foreign policy, we're just waiting for our infamy to decay. It should be another 3 years. Does this matter to me? I think Austria and Brazil and Spain have all got the United States handled here, so I'm not going to go ahead and intervene in that. I think we can live without that. Let me just make sure our chemical plants are doing okay. They are indeed. But they'll be doing better once we've gotten more on sides of Tigray. More sulfur mines. Let's see if we're planning on annexing Tigray. Tigray wants to conquer Gondar and Oromia. We'll get a lot of territory. On the other hand, to offer the Borana market, that's not all that much use to me. On the other hand, as I said, a united Ethiopia would be good, and it feels like Harar's going to make it. So I'm going to go ahead and accept that. And we'll go ahead and marshal some forces to make this happen. Put you there. Grab my small armies, put you there. Put you there. Getting a little bit of adventurism done. Colonization of Inner Mauritania is complete. Sahrawi, I think, is claimed by Morocco, and I think that's what's going on there. Another thing that I want to get done going forward with a reasonable speed is to get myself a little bit more naval power going. Can I make these more profitable being publicly traded? No, I cannot. Interesting. Let's go ahead and subsidize all railways. Right now I'm in a situation where my transportation is pretty cheap. Hey, there's universal suffrage. Wonderful. Got a few more loyalists and a big reduction in radicals. Very pleased about that. Slowly working through this radicalization problem and getting us a good base of support. Oh, the other thing I wanted to say is the child flag finally got cleared from Henri Bonaparte here, which means he's very popular now, especially because of this restitutor orbis. I'm really hoping I can keep the Republican Union in power here. I can't change either of these guys' ideologies, so these guys are going to stick together unless we wind up in a situation where one of them changes ideology. What I would really love to have is the intelligentsia and the rural folk in power. I think that would be a very effective power block. Oh, interesting. They're pushing us over here as we wait for our forces to get in place. That's interesting. Happily for us, this will not avail them. Good, very good. We've still got a very large gold reserve and a very large investment pool, so I'm hoping that as we build up our sulfur production capacity, we will continue to, we'll be able to get these construction sectors built, but I do still need these government buildings. I should probably queue these up first, but you know what? Actually, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull them up in front of just the government and the second round of the sulfur buildings. That's how I'm going to do it. That's how we're going to make this happen. And that's how we're going to do this as efficiently as we can. Yep. So we're going to pull all these government buildings down. And all of these sulfur mines, this next round of sulfur mines, these are all going to get pulled down. And we'll see a dramatic increase in our overall construction capacity. And that'll be just fine. Got more construction down there, but not that much of it. Take this up to the top just for S&G. No, I'm not going to do that. That was dumb. I don't know why I did that. It's fine. So, the war in Africa is going much better now. We conquered all of Borana. Or, more accurately, Harar came in and conquered all of Borana. And now we are fighting against Tigray. This should not be a problem. Our finances continue to be excellent. We're well on the way to establishing a sort of self-sufficient economy sustenance machine. Who are the Netherlands? Oh, the Netherlands sided with America, I bet. Yeah, that's what happened. So they have been conquered by Spain, it looks like. I do kind of desire the Marina Kingdom. So what's next on the docket for research? We're working on improved fertilizer right now. Ellie Calvary. You're a reformer. You stand with the church. You're going to start a movement to restrict child labor. I don't oppose that one bit. So that should be fine. No other diplomatic plays going. How's my diplomatic interest capacity? I could declare some additional interests to get myself into more aspects of world politics. I think the next place we're going to go is Southeast Asia. Persia is tempting. In fact, I think we're going to declare there as well. I'm going to leave South Africa for now, and I'm going to leave myself some interests available for now. Alright, we've gotten all those construction sectors completed, so now we're building those up. We've significantly reduced the price of sulfur. Chemical plants, you're still not fully profitable. Gosh. The fertilizer side of this must be really rough. But that's why we're researching better fertilizer. We're not going to start using better fertilizer, but we're going to use a method for our farms that produces more grain at the cost of more fertilizer, and that's going to drive the cost of fertilizer up, and hopefully we'll be able to use the excess grain to for export, because grain is currently pretty cheap. Or maybe we'll just do a big expansion of our food industries so that they can keep using grain. I'm really liking this number. Really liking it a lot. All these approval bonuses are making me extremely pleased. Wonderful. There's our open market in Borana. That's fine. I'm not going to get too wrapped up in expansionism here, but I think primary targets... Thomas Onslow. I don't know who you are. Primary targets for expansion are going to be Sulu, Balungan, Kutai, and Brunei. and I apologize if I'm pronouncing this badly. I think having a base in Borneo to start would be a good thing. And eventually to take over more bits of the Dutch East Indies. And the reason the Dutch East Indies are a good target is because we're right next to the Netherlands here. So we can definitely have the capacity to kind of muscle them into doing whatever we desire. Because that is how geopolitics is. Investment pool's still going up. It was... Oh, no. You know, I was like, it went down. It was like 50 million earlier. And it's like, no, our gold reserves are at 50 million. Gold reserves are doing really, really well right now. Truthfully, I wish I could get my legitimacy up, but it is what it is. How much people are going to Montana, that's not surprising. Montana is a good place to go. I don't know specifically if it's a good place to go if you're Flemish, but, you know, I can't imagine it would be. I can't imagine it would be, but it is what it is. So if I increase... Oh, Russia wants to be rivals. You know what, Russia? I will happily be rivals with you. Let's do it. That'll tighten my ties with Austria. Bring us closer together. Sure, it would be nice to have a consumption tax on porcelain, but to be honest, my finances are so solid right now that I don't need it. I can just kind of keep all this authority for myself and for changing laws. So, are there any laws I want to change? Freedom of conscience, I could flip over to total separation. The landowners would really dislike that, but they'll live with it because they don't hardly have any power anymore. I'm currently suppressing them. The war has ended. Beautiful. Large hurrah. Very good. Cross-border investments. French industrialists are interested in making investments in neighboring Baden industries. He stood up, put his hat on, and headed towards the door. At first he seemed he would leave without another word, but then he turned around and spoke with barely suppressed anger. Being accused of lacking in patriotism for where I try to make money isn't just insult. It betrays a complete lack of understanding of how money is made. Do you think I made what I already have by thinking provincially? An excellent investment. We get some relations with them, they get some extra tax income, strong-arm them into investing domestically. I'm going to let them go over there, because I don't need the money. My finances are doing phenomenally, actually. And we're building a ton of logging camps. That should be very good. So how's the private construction queue doing? It's doing really solidly. Do you have decisions available? None of these are anything super interesting. The expeditions are I think, an underutilized mechanic. I'm not going to go for them right now. Probably this playthrough. I might do a playthrough later where we do more expedition-based gameplay, but for now I think we're not going to. I'm still short on government admin. I'm continuing to incorporate new areas, so I think we're just going to queue up some more of that. Let's put a block of admin. Oh gosh, we're short on infrastructure virtually everywhere. I'm going to put another 6 in Normandy. And I'm going to queue them up. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to push the number camp. You know what? This is really dumb. My queue is way too long for this. And then we'll fix these back up from here. That was a little silly, but it's just my it's just what we need to do. Hamburgian proletarian revolt. I don't need to get involved in that. The American-Venezuelan War seems to not really have involved a lot of war. Primarily involves America land invading Austria, which is sort of silly. How close are we to completing these? We're 7 months away from completing these incorporations, which will be good. Turmoil is actually really high in Flanders and a little high in Wallonia, so I think we're going to need to build some industry there. So, what can we go ahead and do? We're still building up these lumber industries. We could definitely use more glassworks, but how's the price of porcelain? The price of porcelain is low. But we can exporting porcelain to Qing. Ironic. Given that high quality porcelain given that China was where a lot of the high quality porcelain in Europe came from during this time period. So building glassworks is a little bit of a risk. What else? Coal mines don't provide a really high standard of living because they're mining jobs. Groceries are potentially... Oh, wow. Oh my goodness, Prussia. Prussia, what's wrong? Prussia, what's going on with you? Oh no. Ah yes, we have another Prussian Republic attempting to gain control of Prussia. Should have tried to form Germany, but sadly you were stopped by a very powerful France. So let's see. You know, tooling industries are always a good thing to build to increase standard of living. So let's get... Oh my goodness, that's so much unemployment. That's what's going on. That's why that place is doing so rough. But with that having been said, we really need to keep from having too much in this building queue here. Ottoman Empire has sided with Russia because we need to keep these lumber camps being built, and then we need these sugar plantations built, and then we need to get this military expansion happening. Although there's definitely a part of me that's tempted to just go ahead and queue all of these military buildings up to the top to just do the military expansion right now. But it's not urgent. Alright, cool. New party. The Democratic Alliance. Cool. Alright, so the industrialists and the rural folk are split up. That's very good for us, because it means we can have this and have a legitimate government with a lot of loyalists per month, and that will be just wonderful. We have a Luddite in command of the Agrarian Farmer Party. I don't love that. You have 26 months left on Exiled Dissident, but what we could do is invite a rural folk dissident and put him in command of the party. That would be interesting. It's definitely a thing we could do. I'm going to see how things go with this election. Once again, our finances continue to be just phenomenal. I am actually tempted to just build out a massive increase in construction sectors, because that would allow us to have a lot of efficient use of that cash. Birds of a feather. Elie Kovry and Cyprien Alquet were spotted in discussions about the coming election. Preachers the next day were extolling the virtues of the party of order. The first estate and second estate hand in hand since the oldest glory of the Imperium. A more modern appellation of the holy marriage is hearts and minds, a glorious leader to capture their hearts, and a magnificent God to occupy their minds. The Catholic Church are beyond our reach. This gives a bunch of momentum to the party of order. I don't want that. Let us hope they do not decide the next election. Interesting. This gives them less momentum, but more power to the clergy. I'm going to do this. It's going to make the Catholic Church stronger in the long term, but I think we'll be fine on that. Oh, Prussia. Prussia, 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 Prussia. Why are things so silly over there? That said, I'm not going to worry about it. Great Britain, who are you fighting? Zulu. Got it. Oh, you're infamous. Interesting. You're also conciliatory. Weird. Great Britain stopped rivaling me. That's very curious. Very curious indeed. How's our infamy? We're at 6.8, so we're getting pretty far down there. There's improved fertilizer. Very good. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to grab the farms that we don't have quite as much of. And we're going to increase... Okay, so that does make those more profitable. But if we do this with the wheat farms, that makes them less profitable. So, first things first... I think we're going to do this. And then we're going to start an export trade route for grain. A big one. Yeah, look at all these markets. So, Britain needs grain, Qing needs grain, Austria needs grain, Japan needs grain, Prussia needs grain, and the Ottoman Empire needs grain. Brazil, Sweden. Alright, so we're going to make ourselves into the breadbasket of Europe. And we'll see how that affects the price of bread. 1 second. We're just going to export a completely unreasonable quantity of grain, and hopefully over the next few weeks, those trade routes will continue to increase in volume until we are absolutely lousy with grain trade routes. We're losing a bunch of money on this fertilizer export route now, so we'll scrap that, as well as the other fertilizer export routes. This furniture export route is not profitable, but only by a little, so we'll keep it for now. We're importing a lot of wood and hardwood from Russia, but since I'm building up a lot of wood production, I'm going to scrap at least the hardwood import route for now. So what does that do to our wood situation? Our wood situation continues to be good as we continue to build out... Belle Epoque. What does this do? Okay. I'll look at it later. I thought it was going to come directly up, but it didn't. Election's coming up. Agrarian and Farmer Party have got a lot of momentum. That's very good. Speed it up a little bit, get us to that point. Where are we with incorporating these areas? Oh, these are very close by. Excellent. So we'll get those done very soon, and then we'll see what we get for achieving the natural borders of France. That'll be nice. Where are we with our infamy? 5.1 still. Still fairly high, but maybe less high later. I should also work on the French Foreign Legion. Here we go. The natural borders of France, with the French Empire now extending to the far corners of the Rhine and Alps, we've achieved what champions of this project have termed our natural borders. We must now administer our newly acquired territories. The Rhenish official greeted the newcomer. Plenty of folks were coming from further west nowadays. He pulled out his form and began writing. Yes, monsieur. Your name, please. Jean Robert. Your age? 31. Occupation? Oh, no, mon ami. Just visiting. Let's see. They must learn to be French. This gives us 75% assimilation for 20 years. That's really strong. Glory to the heroes of the French Empire. This makes the armed forces stronger. Not necessarily interested in that. We are the Liberators of Gaul. Oh my god! I can get Wallonian and Breton as primary cultures. Heck, that's so strong. Hold up. Hold up. My current primary culture is just French. So cultures I got. So this will add Wallonian, Breton, Occitan, Franco-Provencal, and Franco-Provencal. So, Occitan is Francophone and European heritage. Franco-Provencal is Francophone, Swiss and European heritage. Ooh, we can get the Swiss group. All the Swiss cultures as primaries. That's rad. Wallonian is Low Countries Francophone and European heritage. So that would let us get Flemish and Dutch. Do we have Dutch around here? We don't. But I think Dutch also count as Low Countries. So that would be really strong. And then adding Breton, Francophone, Celtic, and European heritage. Well. We are the Liberators of Gaul. So, let's take a look at some cultures. In Holland we have Dutch. Dutch is Low Countries and European heritage. Okay, so these territories can all be held as primary. If we go to National Supremacy, while we have Wallonian as our primary. Irish counts as Celtic. Excellent. What about Scottish? Do you count as Celtic? No, you count as Anglophone. Cool. Alright, so we don't have that. But that's really interesting. And we could, so if we went to, even if we kept it National Supremacy, that means we could still grab Swiss territory, the Low Countries, and Ireland, and have them all as, held as basically as directs for our primary cultures, which is really interesting. There's the election. Democratic Republicans have it. Can't get any higher than where we are now, so that's just wonderful. I'm very pleased. Moving along, let's look at some law changes. We can go to consumption-based. This would be really interesting. How viable would this be? So how much are we getting from consumption taxes? We're getting 275. We're getting 225 from minting. We are getting 375 from poll taxes. So even if we got more consumption taxes, I still don't think that would be valid. But the realization that this reduces consumption tax cost by 50% makes this not completely pointless, which I thought it was for a long time. For now, though, the Catholic Church will be mad if we go to total separation. But I think that might be where we're going next. National Guard. Could go to Guaranteed Liberties. I don't want to do that quite yet, because I don't necessarily want to go a hyper, like an ultra-liberal run right now immediately. Because I want to retain the possibility of becoming a more authoritarian version of France right now. Just because I think it's more interesting. I've gone hyper-liberal as Sweden for a long time, and I've done these various runs. So even though we're currently holding, sort of, the government's kind of captured by the intelligentsia just on account of that's what the king is about, but it needn't always be the case. So our heir actually aligns with the industrialists, which is a really interesting, creates a really interesting dynamic. With that having been said, we're going to have Henri Bonaparte for a long time, because he's still only 27. So there'll be plenty of time for him to continue ruling before. What's our heir's name? What's your name? Ferdinand Philippe. Interesting. That'll be fun. With that having been said, it's been a little bit of a short episode, but we've been looking through a lot and going real slow. So I think next time, yeah, our infamy is down to 3.8. So next episode, we're definitely going to continue our adventurism in North Africa, and that'll be nice. Nihilist. That's interesting. We'll see what comes of that. But with that having been said, I've had fun. I hope you all have fun. I'll see you on the other side.